Are we going to see a hype train face-off with Bo Nickal and Shara Magomedov? Does Bobby Knuckles deserve a title shot after that nasty uppercut KO? And is Alexander Volkov the next heavyweight champ? This is MMA News with Cosmo, UFC Saudi Arabia. Definitely a culture that likes MMA, that likes combat sports, and that has money for these fights and for the UFC. So I think that it's a good thing for the sport, and it's a good thing for us collectors so that we can get more eyes on it. But it didn't go off without some problems. There was a 6-minute round, and I looked it up. The last time that this happened was UFC 20 in 1999, and that was the last time that they had open time limits. So literally it's been 25 years since we had a 6-minute round. Just a funny little tidbit about that. All right, now we'll talk about some of the matchups. We had Rinat versus Dalby, and I'm a big Rinat guy. I've enjoyed watching him fight. You know, he came onto the scene really just tearing people apart, made Brian Battle look silly. He absolutely slept Kevin Lee, literally put him to sleep in the cage. So I was a big fan of him, but these last two fights, man, he's looked a little off. He hasn't necessarily looked like his old self, and has me a little bit concerned. I have a Rinat Fakhretdinov Prism Rookie Rainbow that I'm trying to get rid of on eBay, and I was really hoping that he would put together a really solid performance here, and that he might be able to get, you know, a nasty KO of some kind. Didn't turn out that way. It was a really close fight, and we had a lot of the MMA judges and MMA media actually split down the middle on who they thought won. There was a split decision victory, so it was very close, but Rinat did come out on top, so he still is technically on his long unbeaten streak, and you know, maybe he can get a top 15 matchup the next time he's out there. I do think that Dalby was a tough matchup, especially for an unranked guy. He's got a Ninja Turtle back, you know, veteran of the game, crafty, smart, you know, so it was a tough fight. But I do think that there's some better matchups within the top 15. Volkov Oezdemir versus Johnny Walker. Oh my, Johnny Walker, I'm sorry, man. This is like the third nasty finish he's had within the last couple years. And you know, for his sake, I hope he doesn't have some serious brain damage after that, because he's got, you know, the Jamal Hill knockout was absolutely insane. And Oezdemir like literally folded him in half. The ankle and knee look kind of weird on that one, but feel a little bad for Johnny Walker. Such a character. Hopefully he can get a few big money fights or something in the future. Continue to entertain people, continue to entertain us. Has not been going his way at all. And I think everybody is together that we know that Johnny Walker is not going to be a champ at 205. So sad to see him. Some big news. We got Shara Magomedov, big prospect in 2024. Topps products, big rookie chase for a lot of people. He fought, and we'll start with the good, right? He's getting a lot of hate online, and even saw some people talking about his striking. But let's make one thing clear: this guy has elite kicks. He has absolutely elite kicks. He's got strong low kicks. He's got strong body kicks. He's got the hip mobility to go up high to the head. He can spin kick. I mean, he can really do it all with the kicks. He's got all the kicking weapons in his toolbox. Now, can he wrestle? No, he can't wrestle at all. But I saw some people talking about his stand-up. Nah, you can't do that. I mean, maybe outside of Israel Adesanya, you know, he's probably the best kicker at 185. Incredibly skilled and good at using knees as well. We've seen him twice now use knees very effectively within the fight. With that being said, he's not very well-rounded. We know he's not a wrestler. He's from Dagestan and can't wrestle. I know, it's crazy, and we had Bo Nickal call him out. Now, good call out for Bo, right? Because Bo is a wrestler, and we know that Shara is not a wrestler. So it fits perfectly with what Bo would want to happen in that fight. You know, take him down, he wants to wrestle him. You know, it's biggest offensive weapon, and it's Shara's biggest weakness. So I understand the call out from Bo, but I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it at all. I want to see Bo against a more well-rounded guy. I want him to continue to, you know, feel a little bit of adversity in there and continue to get better. And I also don't want Shara to fight somebody that is that good of a grappler. I think it kind of is silly for him as well, because why would you take that matchup? Bo does have a lot of hype, but just seems like a terrible matchup on paper. And I think that Shara needs more time to develop and become more well-rounded. And I think that will serve him good in the long run to avoid fighting Bo right now and continue to build both of these guys into stars that I know that they could be. And I don't necessarily think the UFC wants to make that happen either. You know, you're just gonna kind of kill both of these young guys while they're still young and still have a lot of hype around them. Oh yeah, and to touch on some cards with Shara, you know, he's huge chase in 2024 tops, and you know, a lot of people are paying big money for him. He's already 30 years old. On average, that's older than the champs in this division. Most champs are already established and have won a title before his age currently. So I think that, me personally, I don't really want to touch him as far as, you know, high price cards, as far as investing in him for the future. I'm just gonna kind of leave it, and he's not very well rounded at the moment. And you know, he potentially has maybe 2 or 3 more prime years until he's kind of just gonna be aged out. So I'm not gonna touch him in that aspect with cards, but I think he's really entertaining, and you know, he has the look. And he also has one of the best nicknames in the game. We've got to just say he's a top 5 nickname of all time, right? With the pirate, he's got the bandana, he's got the scary look, he's got one eye, dude, with the eye patch. I mean, if he had a peg leg, he would literally be, you know, like a pirate. I think he's an entertaining guy. Hopefully he can get a few more fun matchups with some strikers. Oezdemir Volkov vs Pavlovich. Now, this is like, when you look at Oezdemir Volkov, 6'7", long, rangy, skilled striker. This is the nightmare I think that other people see when they look at Volkov, and he brought it all to the table in this matchup against a very, very good striker in Sergey Pavlovich, and against a guy that has nuclear bombs in either hand. And he fought like a damn near perfect fight against Pavlovich. And it kind of had me thinking, like, what is the ceiling to Oezdemir Volkov? And my mind went to, you know, the fight that he already had with Tom Aspinall, and he pretty much immediately got taken down and immediately submitted. So I don't know if he's gonna have what it takes to be a heavyweight champ, but he is definitely a top 3 striker in this division. And if he fights like that, I think he can give a lot of people a lot of problems. What I want next for Volkov, I want Cyril Gane and Oezdemir Volkov. I think that is a great matchup. I think it would be a fun striking battle, and I think, you know, probably welcome that, because they know that their opponent isn't going to necessarily try and wrestle them. He's potentially number 3 in the rankings. So I don't think that that is outside of realm of possibility. And if I was a matchmaker, that's what I would be looking to do, because it's an entertaining matchup. And I think both guys would agree to that matchup as well. And, you know, it'd be good for the fans, and it'd be good for both guys. If you win that, you know, maybe you try and vie for a title shot. So we'll see. And lastly, but not least, we've got Whittaker versus Aliskerov, and I was absolutely floored that the odds were -150 Whittaker and +125 for Aliskerov. Now that to me is absolutely insane. If you're talking about the best guys in the division, I mean, went toe-to-toe with Adesanya multiple times, looked pretty good in a couple of those fights. And you're talking about a guy that only has 2 fights in the UFC, and it's almost a pick'em fight. I thought that was insane, and Aliskerov is a dangerous dude. He's got 2 nasty finishes within the UFC, but if you're talking about unranked guys versus Robert Whittaker, I mean, it's a huge step up in competition, and it was apparent that it was a huge step up in competition, as Bobby Knuckles got it done very quickly and in an incredible fashion. Insane finish, and also it was from an uppercut, which we know that Hamza Chimaev caught Aliskerov with, you know, when they fought a couple years ago. And I bet you Bobby Knuckles and his team saw something in the past on tape and decided to, you know, take advantage of a lack of technique or his lapse in concentration when it comes to uppercuts defensively, and it worked out beautifully for him. But I am glad that Aliskerov stepped up to save the card, and that, you know, he's the risk, because he's, what, 31? He probably doesn't have that much time left in the sport. He's unranked, and he had an opportunity to beat Robert Whittaker, and he took it. And I mean, he would have skipped so many killers and just gone straight up into the rankings. So I think it was a good move for him and for his career, but it didn't work out. And will he ever be the same after that knockout? I don't know, but he definitely lost some brain cells in that one. What's next for Robert Whittaker? We definitely can make an argument for Robert Whittaker that he deserves a title shot now. We've got 4 people. We got DDP as the champ, we got Izzy, we got Strickland, and we got Whittaker. I think we just round robin all 4 of them, you know? Izzy and DDP coming up. Strickland is probably healthy, probably free. And we got Whittaker, who just came off that real early knockout, so he's free as well, and he's healthy now. Man, maybe we run Strickland and Whittaker back again, and the winner of that fights the winner of Izzy and DDP. I think as far as next moves go, I think that is the correct way to go about it. And then from there, you just go round robin. whoever wins the fight, they fight the current champ, and then the loser fights the other guy until we can really get some more players in this division. Because right now it's extremely top heavy. It's an extreme log jam, and then the rest of the people are kind of, you know, just in there. I mean, Imavov had a good performance, but I don't know if I would put him on those guys' level yet. So we'll see what happens. But I'm excited to see Robert Whittaker get that big dub and have some fun, entertaining matchups at 185. But that was UFC Saudi Arabia MMA news with Cosmo.